Welcome back to The Explainer. So today we are jumping right into a seriously fascinating, highly detailed source document that presents a staggering core thesis. You know those mysterious, utterly silent black triangles people have been reporting in our skies for decades? Well, what if they aren't alien spacecraft at all? According to the author of the text we're looking at today, they are actually fully patented human-built machines. It's a massive question, isn't it? Are the black triangles in our skies actually ours? The source material we are auditing today asserts that the answer is a resounding yes. So in this explainer, we're going to perform a rigorous forensic audit of a craft known as the TR-3B Astra, relying entirely on the author's extensive technical and historical claims. We're talking about the physics, the patents, and the literal engineering that supposedly make this impossible machine fly. Okay, let's dive into this blueprint. We'll be going through 1. The black triangle revealed. 2. The engine of the impossible. 3. Plasma thrusters and propulsion. 4. Full-spectrum stealth technology. 5. The ghost in the machine. And finally 6. The true covert mission. Let's get right to it. Section 1. The black triangle revealed. Mapping the corporate state syndicate. To really understand the machine, the author states we first have to understand the architects who actually built it. The text claims the TR-3B Astra is basically a first-generation weapon. It's the operational culmination of reverse-engineered technology mixed with human brute force engineering. So it's not a pure alien craft, but a hybrid built by a very specific, deeply compartmentalized network. And the text impartially lists out exactly who the syndicate of defense contractors and agencies actually is. According to the document, the physical hardware, manufactured by Lockheed Martin Skunk Works, it is ordered and owned by the National Reconnaissance Office, and incredibly, operated by the U.S. Space Force, all while being powered by compact nuclear reactors from the Department of Energy. And it gets wilder. The source traces the foundational physics all the way back to the bizarre, high-voltage experiments of Nazi Germany's Die Glocke, or the Bell Project, which they say was then combined with hardware recovered from non-human crashes. Section 2. The engine of the impossible, the Magnetic Field Disruptor. Now what's really interesting here is the physics of it all. How exactly does a 600-foot-wide triangular warship fly without wings? Well, the core power source the author identifies is something entirely different from a conventional jet engine. The absolute heart of the TR-3B is defined in the text as a Magnetic Field Disruptor, or MFD. Picture a localized torsion field generator. It essentially works by taking highly pressurized mercury plasma and spinning it at a mind-bending 60,000 revolutions per minute inside a toroidal or donut-shaped ring. This extreme velocity and massive electromagnetic energy supposedly disrupts space-time itself. It basically acts as a gravity elevator that completely removes the universe's gravitational grip on the craft. And that brings us to this exact, very specific number, 89%. The author mathematically asserts that because this is a human-built copy of non-human technology, it's not perfect. The MFD doesn't completely eliminate gravity. It cancels exactly 89% of the craft's mass. So imagine dropping a massive, incredibly heavy bowling ball, but because of the MFD, it suddenly floats down like a feather. Because it doesn't achieve 100% mass nullification, it is technically classified as a hybrid craft. It still has to deal with the physical realities of that remaining 11%. Which brings us to Section 3, Plasma Thrusters and Propulsion, the hybrid drive system. Look, 11% of an aircraft carrier-sized vehicle is still incredibly heavy, right? So the TR-3B has to rely on a secondary, heavily patented system to actually move and steer. This is the hybrid aspect of its drive system we just talked about. To push that remaining mass around, the text claims the craft uses magnetohydrodynamic, or MHD thrusters, located at the three corners of the triangle. An MHD thruster uses extreme electromagnetic fields to accelerate ionized plasma. And what makes this so incredibly unique is that it has zero moving parts. Literally none. No turbines, no compressor blades. This perfectly explains how the craft operates in absolute, terrifying silence at lower speeds, entirely lacking the mechanical roar we normally associate with conventional aviation. Now, if you are familiar with UAP lore, this next detail will absolutely blow your mind. Witnesses of black triangles almost always report these massive, glowing orbs at the corners, often shifting from amber to red to blinding blue. Well, the author asserts these are definitely not FAA navigation lights. They are simply the visible ionization of the plasma exhaust from those MHD thrusters. As the pilot applies more power, the temperature and ionization states change, which literally shifts the color of the glowing plasma. It's just exhaust. Section 4. Full Spectrum Stealth Technology, Beyond Radar Absorbent Materials. So we've got this massive, glowing, nuclear-powered triangle. How on earth does it hide from the world? The text asserts it does this by using active, not passive, stealth. Let's contrast standard stealth with the TR-3B's claimed capabilities for a second. Normal physical stealth relies on sharp geometric shapes that deflect radar and specialized paint that absorbs it. But the TR-3B's active stealth, according to the text, goes way beyond that. It includes an electrochromic skin that dynamically mirrors the sky above it, essentially making it visually invisible. It also uses the intense torsion field of the MFD to literally bend starlight around the hull through localized gravitational lensing. And to hide the massive hum of its internal reactor, it uses acoustic cancellation arrays embedded right into the hull, which function exactly like giant noise-canceling headphones. And here is where it gets truly fascinating. The author forensically grounds these wild claims using specific, publicly available U.S. patents. For instance, you know how these craft are reported to accelerate to Mach 10 without a sonic boom? The author explains that using a plasma aerodynamic shield patent. It's completely wild to think that the government essentially holds a public patent for a literal UFO force field, but there it is, U.S. Patent 6527221. By projecting an electromagnetic field ahead of the craft to ionize the air, it smoothly parts the atmosphere around the hull, which physically prevents a shockwave from ever forming in the first place. Section 5. The Ghost in the Machine, Crew, Interface, and Life Support. Because that MFT torsion field is way too chaotic for standard computer algorithms to handle, the craft actually requires human pilots, 3 to 4 systems integration officers. Let's look at the biological toll this takes. Keeping humans alive inside a sealed, gravitationally warped bubble requires some incredibly ingenious engineering. The text outlines a closed-loop biological system using what's called a Sabatier reactor. Here's how it works. Step 1. The pilot exhales toxic carbon dioxide. Step 2. The reactor mixes that CO2 with hydrogen at 700 degrees Fahrenheit. Step 3. This converts into water and methane. And get this, the methane is actually used as fuel for the plasma thrusters. Finally, step 4, the water is electrolyzed back into breathable oxygen. The pilot's breath literally becomes steering fuel. But piloting the craft takes a severe toll on the human body. The source states the TR-3B isn't flown with a joystick. Instead, the pilots wear a biometric, telepathic helmet that reads their brainwaves to directly translate their thoughts into flight commands. Just imagine the ultimate sensory overload. The text describes the aftermath of this as a God mode hangover. Maintaining this unnatural 360-degree sensory connection to the craft causes profound dissociation and serious neurological degradation for the crew. Section 6. The True Covert Mission, Psychotronic Warfare, and Time Warps. Okay, so if you have a multi-trillion-dollar physics-defying stealth fleet, what are you actually doing with it? We're going to neutrally report the author's darkest claims here, which boldly state that the tactical reconnaissance designation is just a front for its true, deeply classified missions. According to the text, the TR-3B is fundamentally a psychotronic warfare platform. It's allegedly equipped with vergators for high-power microwave pulses and targeting lasers for orbital kinetic strikes, often called rods from God. But the most alarming claim by far is its use of extremely low frequency, or ELF, waves. The author asserts the craft can broadcast frequencies to invisibly stoke social unrest and emotionally agitate human populations. And this is purportedly done to harvest a low-frequency emotional energy that the text's philosophy refers to as louche. And the author goes even further than that, detailing an application for military abductions. Because the MFD gravity field is so incredibly intense, it literally warps the fabric of spacetime, creating a localized temporal distortion bubble. According to the text, this explains the whole phenomenon of missing time in abduction lore. The craft can extract a target, perform multi-day operations within the accelerated timeframe of that bubble, and return them with only minutes having passed in our standard reality. And this brilliantly illustrates the whole teardown. When you map it all out side by side, the author's core thesis becomes incredibly clear. They are systematically taking the magic of UFO mythology and replacing it with heavily patented terrestrial mechanics. Teleportation? That becomes mass reduction. Glowing alien orbs? That's just plasma exhaust. Total silence is just active acoustic cancellation, and the invisible alien cloak is really a combination of metamaterials and gravitational lensing. Which leaves us with a truly fascinating question based on this forensic audit. If the source material is correct, and these black triangles are entirely human-built, operated by a shadow network using trillions in black-budget funds, what else is hiding behind the alien myth? It's a provocative thought, and it completely reframes everything we think we know about the anomalies in our skies. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and remember, keep questioning what you see up there.